The police have failed another person. This is like turning into the days of my lives as a front desk hotel person. Okay? I had no idea. I've never worked in a hotel before, so I had no idea like how much hospitality, that's the field it's considered, how much we see. And it's just unreal. Like last Sunday, we had the sex trafficking victim, which I just have a brief update again about her. I went to the store where I dropped her off at, and I talked to the manager that I had talked to when I dropped her off there. And he said that the cops showed up for less than 30 seconds, asked her if she was okay. She said yes. So they just left. He said that she stayed there for hours and then she just disappeared. So tonight, I have this happen, okay? This mom and daughter come in. Usually people come right up to the front desk because they're getting a room. But she came in and asked where the bathroom was. So I was like, okay, maybe they just need to use the bathroom before they come and start doing all the check-in. I tell her where the bathroom is. They go, come back out. She just starts telling me the craziest detached from reality babble ever. So she tells me, that she's far away from home, but she wanted to know if she could park in our parking lot and sleep there for the night. And she had a daughter with her. And I could tell this kid was about 11, 12. She happened to be 12. So, I was like, yeah. And where she had parked, I was like, I said, I'd rather you move to the front of the hotel, just where it's the most lit. I can see you guys, So she did. She moved her car. But this woman was telling me the most insane shit. She started telling me, my phone tells me to text people. I don't know if it's like sending messages to me, but like everywhere I look, there's just signs. There's signs everywhere. I realized pretty quickly, the elevator's not reaching the top floor. So, but she has the kid with her. Obviously, she didn't have money for a room or she would have bought one. So I was like, kind of kept calm, and I just was talking to her, engaging her in conversation. I really wanted to know, like, what her name was, how old was the kid, where are you coming from? She starts telling me that she was dating a Mexican cartel guy. I don't believe that's true, but that's what she said. And she was like, he's taken my daughter before. And he has all this paperwork that I'm crazy, but I'm really not crazy. And I know this sounds crazy, but I'm not crazy. So I'm just sitting there behind the desk, listening and nodding. And then I say to the daughter, I was like, what's your name? She tells me her name. I was like, how old are you? And she told me her age. She was 12. So I'm thinking in my head, okay. So I asked the mom, I was like, where are you from? And she was from a town in Oklahoma, small town. And I said, okay. She was like, we just thought about it, meaning her and her 12-year-old daughter. Okay. We just thought about it and we just left. And she was like, I'm trying to find my mom. She was like, I haven't known my mom since I was a kid. She was like, and nobody will tell me where she's at, but I think she's in Oregon. And I said, okay. I said, so are you going to Oregon? She was like, yeah. And I said, do you know where? She was like, no. Right? She didn't know. She's another one. She did not know she was in Wyoming. She was like, where? It's Monday night. And it's, at this point, 9:30 at night, I guess. But you got this 12-year-old kid in the parking lot of our hotel, 12 hours away from home, and you're talking crazy. She said she made the whole linear line for Arby's. And I was like, okay, if you say so. So I called the police department from the town she said she was from in Oklahoma. And I was just going to ask them, like, do you have a 12-year-old missing child? Has anything been reported about that? So I called them. They didn't answer. That little small police department, I guess they were closed. So I looked at the county, called the sheriff. As a matter of fact, this morning, there was a 12-year-old with the same name as the kid that was reported missing by the father, right? So I didn't get the mom's name. So I tell the dispatcher, she's like, what is the mother's name? And I said, I didn't get it. I said, but they are in our parking lot. I said, I can just go over and like just ask them if they're okay and get her name. So her name matched the name that was given in this report. So the lady tells me, she was like, we tried to make contact with them earlier today. She was like, we were unable to. She was like, the father called in the last he talked to her. They were in Colorado. I said, yeah, well, we're about 30-40 minutes from the Colorado border, so that makes sense. So she's like, will you contact your local police department? And then, they were going to coordinate whatever with them. So I did. But this is the bad part. So the cops get there. I don't think that this woman, she wasn't stable. That was just very obvious. But I don't think she should have been arrested. Like, I think she should have been taken somewhere, maybe get some help. Definitely the daughter needed to go home. I mean, So, but I don't think that everybody should be thrown in jail. The daughter was not being abused. It's just scary what could have happened to her, or what will happen to her, I should say. Because the cop comes up to me, and the first thing he says is, how did you know to call there? Like, with this attitude. And I was like, because she told me where she was from, And so they go over to the car. It was two cops. They go over to the car. They're over there about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I'm just like waiting for them to come back in. So he comes back in and he goes, she's fine. She's fine. And I was like, oh, okay. Because when I talked to the dispatch in Oklahoma, they are looking for her, So he goes, this is what he said to me. And this is how you know when someone is feeling insecure because they're not doing the right thing. He asked me, a front desk clerk, he goes, do you think I'm doing my job well? No, I don't. Did I say that? No. But I was like, well, I'm just concerned for the child. I mean, she's 12 hours away from home on a school night, and her dad's looking for her. And the mom is, from my interaction with her, is not saying, she's not in reality. I can't give a diagnosis. I'm not a doctor. But it was clear that she wasn't, all cylinders were not firing, So, he says to me, well, there's no crimes being committed. So he goes, if you had your 10-year-old son back here right now, it's 10:30. He was like, could somebody call the cops on you? And I said, well, I think we're kind of doing like apples and oranges here. I'm at work and I live here. And, I live here in Laramie. So if my son was here, I don't think that's, yes, he should be in bed. But he's not in a different state in a hotel parking lot where they don't even really know where they are or even where they're going. So I think we're doing big apples and oranges. And then the cop, he was like, oh, the dog doesn't have any food. I'm going to go home and get some food for the dog, which I think was great. But the kid, I mean, there's a 12-year-old kid. Like, what do you... So, basically, um, they did nothing. They're still in the parking lot of my job. Because I guess she told the cop that she was homeschooling her daughter. When? Where are you homeschooling her? Like, I'm just curious because you just up and hauled ass out of Oklahoma. You ended up here and you're in the parking lot of a hotel. Where's the homeschooling happening? She's 12, you know? So I said to the cop, I was like, I said, I don't know. I said, I mean, you guys know your job better than I do. So why are there lights in the background? But cars, those aren't cars. Those aren't cars. Those are lights to different rooms. So, yeah, those aren't cars. But I was so dismayed. And then the way he acted towards me, like somehow I had done something wrong. Like, again, I'll ask, why do they say if you see something, say something, but then when you say something, they don't do anything? Like, Sunday, we have a sex trafficking victim. Today, it was last Sunday. And then today, here's this kid, 12-year-old kid, 12 hours away from home, in a car, parking lot of a hotel, with, I think her mom, I don't know what she had. To me, it sounded like schizophrenia, but again, I'm not a doctor. It's just the crazy babble, just, yeah, I've heard that before. Hey, Justice Jane. What is my job? I work at the front desk of a hotel. So I see a lot of stuff. I'm almost thinking about starting a channel because my days are never dull. But, like, this kind of stuff is different, Like, I hear a lot of wild stories. People like to come up to the desk. They like to hang out. This town, there's a lot of construction workers here. They stay here for weeks and weeks at a time. So you kind of get to know people. And they just like to come down and chat to you and stuff like that. And, never a dull moment. But it's almost like, because Laramie is a college town, so it's almost like the cops are like, this is a nice little college town. If we don't have to do this paperwork and deal with this, because that's what he said to me. The cop was like, well, she's traveling on to Oregon to go see her family. No, she's not. Like, it's like they just don't want to be bothered. But then again, like when something happens to a child and everybody's like, the public goes outraged. Nobody reported this. Nobody did anything about this. Well, yeah, people do stuff and nothing happens. So hopefully they're still there tomorrow when I go into work, because I just want to make sure the kid's okay. I don't know. Stuff just bothers me, But I will say, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, the kid, the little girl, she was happy. Like, she was well fed. She wasn't malnutrition. She wasn't dirty or anything. They actually did have a nice car. But it was almost like, like for the little girl, like she almost seemed like, oh, we're on like an adventure. Oh, we're on an adventure. Like me and mommy were, she almost seemed like whimsical about it. So, I don't know. I think obviously the dynamic of what was truly happening was kind of lost on her. Like, it's almost like a road trip with mom, and mom's being a little crazy, but it's fun. It was, I don't know. I just got that feeling from her. Yeah, Justice Jane, I do, because the mother has no job, obviously, and she's 12 hours away from home, and she's saying she's going to travel to Oregon. didn't have enough money for a room. Her daughter said in front of me to her, I'm hungry. And her mom was like, we don't have a lot of money. You know, so without a lot of money, how are you going to sustain this child? Where are you going to house her? In the car? Or, I just, being that transient, no solid income, or, and a little off, I don't feel like that kid's in the best position. Hi, Ma. What's happening? Directed by CEO Neffs. I think I said that right, but he said it's a lot of tricking in them hotels. I know you see it. I do see it. Unfortunately. I mean, not the actual acts, but yeah. I mean, you can tell. Because we know who stays there. Like even if there's 3 people, 4 people in a room, because we have double bedrooms, um, we have everybody's ID on file. We know who stays there. So when we see women that come up, they might be up there an hour, 30 minutes, and then they leave. We kind of just know. And some of the guys are just really open about it. They don't care. They'll just tell you, literally. So, Justice Jane, I used to work in hospitality. It can be a challenge at times. Yeah, it really is, because, I mean, the shenanigans between adults is just kind of entertaining to me. But stuff like sex trafficking and a child being in the parking lot and stuff, that stresses me the hell out. Like, that really stresses, I still haven't stopped thinking about this woman, the sex traffic lady. Sky Shooter, it bothers you because you care, and that's all right. It shows you care. I do care. You know what? Sometimes I wish that I didn't care about stuff. Like, some people could just go through life and they don't really care, and it seems less stressful. But I can't help it. Like, what if something happens to this kid? And I don't know if that's my anxiety, just being anxiety. But, like, what if something happens to the kid? And then I feel like, I'll probably never know. Or did I do enough? The police department just seems useless. So should I do something else? Like, I don't know. It's just really frustrating. And it's really, I do have to say, I mean, if you're on the West Coast or the Midwest, I apologize. I do love it out here. But honestly, the East Coast cops were better. Unless you're in Tennessee. But East Coast cops were definitely better. Like, if I was in Delaware and this would have happened, that child would have been probably on her way somewhere, returned home, and I think they would have gotten her help. But here it's just kind of like, well, there's no crimes being committed. Well, how is that? I mean, if the dad is looking for her and the police are aware of that, he made a call into them. So how is there no crime being committed? She just took their daughter over two different state lines. How is that, And then I had one of my guests at the hotel tell me, he was like, my wife actually ran off with my child. And he was like, it was devastating to me. He was like, and no one helped me. And I was like, Larry, I did my job. Like, I don't know what else to do, So, I don't know. It's really crazy, the stuff you see. Like, I've bartended, I've worked in a liquor store before, and I've seen some wild stuff there, but hospitality, I think, is the wildest. Like, the crazy part is nobody's drinking, and everybody's, not everybody. We have some really great guests, actually. One of them brought me some kombucha tea tonight, which that was really cool. But some people are just out there. You're so Justice Jane is saying my boss at the hotel was from India and he was a cheap butts. Well, am I homeless? No. This dude, yeah. Oh, why? What? I wonder why you get so many trolls. I'm thinking it's because I didn't title this video. So it seems like when I just go live straight through YouTube, that all the trolls come. Because when I go live through StreamYard, I never have these kinds of trolls. Oh, hi, Oki. I didn't bartend in Oklahoma. I bartended in Delaware, but I worked in a liquor store in Oklahoma, and that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. So, well, thank you. Yeah, it's been a night. I was pretty upset, especially when the cop, like, I don't know, he just acted like I was doing something wrong. And I was just thinking to myself, like, am I doing something wrong here? Like, the kid's been reported where she lives. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you acting like... It was really weird. Hold on. I don't want to take a puff of my cigarette on the live stream. It's a disgusting habit. I hate that I have it. I need to change it. But I just don't want to do it on screen. I have, and it just looks so trashy. And I just have to be honest. Are you transgender? The wildest things I've seen as a bartender, oh my gosh. A lot. A lot of people, you know, there's a lot of people just sticking, and this is so gross, but like at the end of the night, like a lot of people just sticking their tongues in other people's mouths and just making out. I've seen like 3 people at a time doing this. I think the craziest thing that ever happened was, it was a Friday night. We're packed. This big, tall dude. I mean, this guy, I don't know. He was like 6'3", 6'5". He's just a huge dude. And he was drunk as hell. And he came in, and I was like, I'm not serving you. Like, he was so damn drunk, right? Stumbling around and everything. He tried to jump over the bar at me. Literally. And we had a bouncer. And, he grabbed him up and he threw him out the door. He ended up getting arrested and all kinds of stuff. He was outside doing a bunch of craziness with the cops. But yeah, that was probably the craziest thing that happened to me personally. And I think I've only flagged like maybe 2 people. Maybe 2 people ever. Not, you know, barely any, but... Where did I bartend in Delaware? Not up top. Wilmington's up top for us. I bartended down in Kent County. So, yeah, bless my little heart, huh? But yeah, it's been an eventful night. I think, I don't know. I think... like, I want to be like pro cop because they should be our like line of defense, protect and serve and stuff. But the more I see, like, I mean, I've been watching true crime my whole damn life, basically, since I was that kid's age, 12. But I just lose faith in them. You know what I mean? Like, why do they always seem to do the opposite of what they should do? And you just see this time and time again in trials and all kinds of stuff. Sky Shooter, you seem real. Yeah, I'm pretty real. Just keep being you and worry about you and yours, but life throws shit at you. Keep moving forward. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not unhappy in my life, personally. I'm actually pretty darn content. Smyrna? No. Further down. Harrington. The place was called Stones. And it was like the little Harrington town bar. Yeah, I wish we did see more good in cops. I truly do. And I do see good stuff sometimes. But like these last couple of interactions that I've had with them that are pretty serious matters, they just to see them blow it off and then to know true crime cases and stuff or bad things happen to people, even though it's been reported and stuff, it's frustrating. Because I'm not going to sit there at my job and like get into a fight with a cop. I'm not going to argue with him, but it's just kind of like, dude, you're telling me that this kid's fine. How? How is she fine? 12 hours away from home on a school night, her dad's looking for her, and she's fine? I mean, that just doesn't compute for me. So, you can't believe you're talking to someone who actually lived in Delaware? Yeah, I lived there like basically my whole life. Till I was 42. I lived in Delaware. So, yep, that's my home state. I was a beach person. It's the only thing I miss. I miss the beach. But Wyoming is just so beautiful, like just natural beauty. There's less people. Walmart is not packed to the hilt any day of the week, including Saturdays. I just love this town. It's a very health conscious, like active town. A lot of biking, a lot of hiking, just a lot of things, outdoorsy things. And I just really like that. I'm an anomaly. I think I am too, because I'm telling you, like the general mentality, like in Delaware about the West or the Midwest, I had that until I got out here, and I was like, I've been missing this my whole life. Like this is bullshit. Excuse me, but it felt like that because it's just so beautiful here. But I definitely see why people get away with the craziest crimes out here. I really do. Sky Shoulder is saying there's good and bad. Never know what they just went through. I give them credit, but at the same time, I think you lose a bit of your humanity. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty much like that. Like, I want to have faith in you. I want to know that we can call you for help. But kind of when I have for people at my job, you haven't done a damn thing, you know. So it's kind of, hi, OP. But I don't know. I guess we should just say a prayer for this little girl and hope that I really do hope they're there tomorrow. I want to help them somehow. Again, like I think the mother, I don't think she belongs locked up. She's not beating the kid or she's not strung out on drugs. She's mentally not stable. She wasn't talking about harming herself or her daughter. So that's good news. I just want to help them somehow, but I just don't know how. If the cops don't do anything, then what do I do? I hate feeling helpless like this, It's like I feel like some little weird calling or something, like go forth in the world and just help people, do something for people. Garbage memes. I don't do politics on this channel. So I'm not gonna give any opinion on politics. This is like the worst time for us, I feel like, in politics, like right before the election. People get really hyperbolic, they get really over the top with their beliefs and they start pressing them onto others. And if you disagree, suddenly you hate each other. And it's like this whole thing. I just would rather not, So, uh, yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. I've had people just come in and put like Trump 2024 or Harris 2024, and I'm like, yeah, nope, I'm not a political channel. There's lots of those. I'm just not that.